All right, class, welcome to our air and water section within our subject of science. I know a lot of you guys have already finished your weathering and erosion. You guys are on top of it. That is super awesome. I'm just super grateful for that. I know some of you guys are getting caught up, a little bit behind, and that's okay. You guys are doing great. Do everything you can to get caught up, all right? Thanksgiving is coming, and it's going to come quicker than you think. 3 weeks might seem like a far time, but those days will come by quick. And I don't want you guys to have to worry about any homework or quizzes and assignments over Thanksgiving, all right? So get caught up, stay caught up, and you'll have a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Then you'll be able to come back and we'll be able to finish this quarter out strong, and then you'll have an awesome Christmas break, okay? So make sure you get all of weathering and erosion done, and then, which I'm assuming you guys already got done since you're jumping into in air and water. All right, so we're gonna get into air and water, and I'm excited to learn all this stuff with you and teach you guys, and just have a great experience learning this. Okay, so let's start off. We're just gonna go through pages 2 through 7 today. Gonna be kind of like a lot shorter lessons than we had at the beginning of this quarter, because we'll break up the books into three lessons instead of 2. Okay, so stay with me. If you start losing focus, please pause the video and then come back later, and we'll be able to learn what we need to learn, okay? So let's start off. What is Earth's atmosphere? It's a good question. Well, let's make a connection. Colorful kites and balloons seem to float in the air. Air is invisible. So how do we know that it's there? What do you suppose air is made of? Well, maybe some of you guys already have an answer to that, and maybe some of you guys don't know. Well, that's what we're going to learn today, okay? So let's learn about air. Air and water we're learning, okay? And remember, you have your checkpoints, which I will point out. There are these green sentences or green questions with a green checkpoint. So there's, I think, 3 of them for this first section. Short little discussion posts that you just need to answer, a few sentences, and then we have our apply science for each section. Okay, so those are your assignments, and that are goes along with each section that we read. Okay, so I'll point those out as we read, but just remember that you have those assignments for each section. So air all around us. Earth is surrounded by air, a mixture of gases that you inhale every time you breathe. Oh no, I'm inhaling gas. I'm just kidding. Although air is invisible, it is a substance that takes up space, and that we feel as wind when it moves. The gases in air consist of tiny particles that are in constant motion. The blanket of air around Earth is called the atmosphere. It extends about 500 kilometers above Earth's surface. Beyond the atmosphere in space, there is no air. The atmosphere is composed mainly of 2 gases. Nitrogen makes up about 78% of the atmosphere, and oxygen about 21%. The tiny remaining portion is composed of carbon dioxide, water vapor, argon, and other gases, along with dust particles. Water vapor is water in the form of a gas. So the atmosphere protects our planet by trapping the sun's heat and keeping Earth's climate warm. Without this greenhouse effect, most living things on Earth cannot exist. The atmosphere also blocks certain harmful rays from the sun and causes most objects falling from space to burn before striking Earth's surface. The atmosphere also supports life on Earth because the gases in air are necessary for life. Most living things require oxygen in order to break down food or for energy. Plants also need the carbon dioxide in air in order to make their food. Okay, and here is your first checkpoint, which is, what is Earth's atmosphere and what is it composed of? So we learned that it's composed of 2 main gases. And then we've also gone over 3 of your vocabulary words: atmosphere, water, and vapor, and oxygen so far. So make sure you use the back of your book, the glossary, to fill out your air and water vocabulary. And then let's also talk about 500 kilometers. That's about 310 miles. Hopefully that might put a better picture in your mind of how far it's up above us, how far it extends. And so here's some pictures of living things utilizing the air around us, because a lot of us depend on oxygen. Okay, and here's a picture of the atmosphere. And then we're going to learn about that. Okay, so we just passed our first checkpoint. Here is our second checkpoint that we're going to have at the end of this section. Layers of the atmosphere. So Earth's atmosphere is divided into main layers based on temperature. The layer closest to the Earth, called the troposphere, right here's the troposphere, contains most of the air in the atmosphere. This is because the force of gravity pulls the air downward towards Earth's surface. In the troposphere, air becomes colder with height above sea level. So that's why when you go on a mountain, the air feels chillier. All life on Earth exists in the troposphere, and most weather occurs here. The stratosphere, here's the stratosphere, is the layer above the troposphere. Weather balloons launched from Earth may reach the stratosphere, but most planes cannot fly here, so most planes stay in the troposphere. The air temperature increases with height in the calm, dry stratosphere. Why? Within the stratosphere is a layer of gas called ozone. Ozone absorbs ultralight energy from the sun, blocking it from Earth and warming the stratosphere. The ozone, you might have heard the ozone layer, the ozone also protects living things on Earth. The ultraviolet rays it absorbs can cause serious eye and skin damage. Yeah, so we got to be careful. That's why we recommend, wearing long sleeve stuff or putting on sunblock if you're outside, especially for a long time, wearing sunglasses, and don't look at the sun. The mesosphere is the next layer of the atmosphere. So right here, looks like there's some comments in here. The mesosphere is the next layer of the atmosphere. The mesosphere is the coldest region of the atmosphere. Here, meteors enter Earth's atmosphere slow down and usually burn up, appearing as bright streaks across the sky, or shooting stars. The thermosphere is the top layer up here of the atmosphere, farthest from Earth and extending to the edge of space. Gas particles are spread very far apart in the thin air of the thermosphere. Satellites such as the Hubble Space Telescope and the International Space Station orbit Earth in the thermosphere. Cool. That's awesome. So your next checkpoint for the layers of the atmosphere is name and describe the main layers of the atmosphere. Those right there. Okay, we just have one more section. We are all done today. Quick and easy, right, guys? So stay focused. If you're already losing focus, pause the video, walk around, grab a snack, maybe do some jumping jacks or some push-ups, get some blood moving. Especially at home, we're sitting around a lot of the day, so we gotta get up and move, okay? And then come back to this video. But let's bust this out and learn about air and weather. Weather, here's your next vocabulary word. Weather is what is occurring in the troposphere or lower atmosphere at a given time and place. All weather is caused by energy from the sun. The sun warms the land and water on Earth's surface, and heat from the surface then warms the air above it. The sun's rays strike different parts of Earth at different angles, so the sun heats Earth unevenly. Places near the poles are coldest because they get slanted, indirect sunlight, or none at all throughout the year. Places near the equator are warmest because they get direct sunlight all year long. Uneven heating leads to the formation of air masses, or large bodies of air with similar weather. As these air masses move, they bring weather changes. Weather is composed of 6 main factors or conditions: air temperature, humidity, air pressure, wind, clouds, and rain or snow. These four are characteristics of air. The first four are characteristics of air. So temperature, humidity, air pressure, and wind. Clouds and rain or snow are part of the water cycle, which we'll read on page 18 and 19. Air temperature is the measure of how hot or cold the air is. When heat energy is added to air, the tiny gas particles move faster and faster, and the air temperature increases. The air feels warmer. It's because the air particles are moving really fast. When heat energy is lost, the particles slow down, and the temperature decreases. The air feels colder, kind of like it's getting right now. So during the winter, the air particles are getting slower. They're moving slower. So that's why it's feeling colder. So here's two pictures, right? When the air particles are moving very fast, energy is being created and it feels warmer. But during the winter months, the air particles are moving slow. And there's not a lot of energy, so not a lot of heat. Here's a picture and talking about how air pressure gets lower as climber hikes higher on the mountain because air pressure decreases with elevation. Here's a picture reading the caption. It says, "We can see evidence of the wind when it moves objects such as flags or tree branches or plants." Okay, so we're continuing to learn about the 6 main factors of weather, okay? Humidity. Don't have a lot of humidity here in New Mexico. Back in Virginia on the East Coast, there was a lot of humidity. Humidity is the amount of moisture or water vapor in the air. The amount of moisture in the air depends mostly on temperature. Generally, the higher the temperature, the higher the humidity can be. Humid air feels damp and sticky. Air pressure is the weight of the atmosphere pressing down on Earth's surface. Air pressure decreases with Air pressure decreases with elevation or distance above sea level. So the higher you get from sea level, is the higher the elevation, right? We learned about this in our first section of maps and history. So this is because the higher you are, the less air there is pressing down from above, right? Because gravity pulls the air down. So air pressure is lower on a mountaintop than at the foot of the mountain. Air temperature and air pressure are related. So I wonder if you can jump higher on top of a mountain. You have less oxygen though. Interesting, because you have less gravity. I don't know. Maybe that's not a very good scientific experiment. What do you guys think? Okay, so air temperature and air pressure are related. Cool air has higher air pressure than warm air. Why? The particles in cool air are closer together than those in warm air. As a result, cool air is denser and heavier than warm air. It sinks and pushes down with greater pressure than warm air. Wind, or air in motion, is caused by differences in both air pressure and air temperature. Air always moves from an area of higher air pressure to an area of lower air pressure. Cool air has a higher pressure than warm air, so wind generally blows from cooler places to warmer places. Okay, well that is basically it. Here is your last checkpoint for this first section, and that is explain what weather is and what causes weather. Okay, we learned about the 6 main factors or conditions that are composed of weather. And then here is your apply science concept. So list the 6 main weather factors and then listen for them to be mentioned during a weather report. It says television, but you can listen to it online or on TV, and then check them off and list them and put them what you heard in the text entry box for this apply science concept. Okay, that is it. So glad to join you guys for air and water to start this off. Make sure you do those 3 checkpoints and that apply science. And again, like I said at the beginning, make sure you're just staying on top of your work or getting caught up. It's really important, right? It'll make your break a lot easier. It'll make school a little bit more enjoyable when you're on top and you're not looking at all the missing assignments that you have to do. If you have any questions or if you need help, please reach out to me, and I will see you guys in the next video.